Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, and today we're doing a video of 10 things I hate about my apartment. So I've lived in my apartment in Philadelphia for about a year now, which means I've had lots of time to get to know the space and things that really work and things that really don't work. So I am gonna follow this video up with 10 things that I love about my apartment. There's definitely more than 10 things that I love because I truly love living in this space, but also there's some things that are just like not great. And I think it's been a good learning experience for when I move in the future of things that I am really looking for, things that make a difference to me in my quality of life and my living space. So let's just jump right into it. Also, I probably say this in every video, but I'm so sorry if you hear the sounds of the outside. I do live in Philadelphia. I'm filming at my boyfriend's house in South Philly, so there's always something going on outside. It's really loud. People are driving by, doing construction, whatever they're doing. So apologies in advance if you hear any noise. Okay, number one, my trash neighbor. Now, to be fair, my trash neighbor is about to move out at the end of the month, so it seems like that problem is going to get resolved. However, why do I call her my trash neighbor? So back in the beginning of me living in this apartment, my neighbor, so my building is really small. There's only 4 apartments. So on the second floor, it's just me and one other girl. And her apartment, like, it's kind of hard to explain, but there's a window in the hallway where my front door is, and then outside that window is like this like little landing, and she has a window that faces the outside, and she used to hang her bag of trash out of her window. So that means that, like, you know, when I'm trying to come into my apartment, there's a bag of trash in the window right outside. Sometimes she would leave her bags of trash like in the hallway in the apartment, and I just found it like weird and disrespectful, and it smelled, and, you know, it was obstructing my space. Like, I wasn't loving it. So originally, after it happened a few times, I wrote her a note, and I was just like, hey, nice to meet you, I'm your neighbor. Like, I've never met her in person at this point. And I was just like, hey, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave your trash inside your apartment until it's trash day, and then, you know, take it outside. It was a very short, like, friendly, normal note, and I was just like, here's my number, by the way, so that you have it. Sorry we haven't met yet, but, like, can you just deal with the stuff with your trash? She never acknowledged it. She never texted me. She never, like, changed her behavior. She kept doing it. The trash is still there. So after it happened a few more times, I ended up knocking on her door. I don't want to make this story too long, but basically I asked her to stop doing this with the trash, and she freaked out at me, and she was super rude to me. And she was going off about how she's an attorney and she's so busy and she doesn't have time, and, like, you know, all of it. Like, she was just really rude to me. So after that, she became my mortal enemy. I decided I don't like her. I've had very few interactions with her since then. The interactions I have had with her have been mostly pleasant on my part and mostly weird on her part. Like, for example, the other day, she locked herself out of the building late at night. It was like 10, not late at night, but it was like 10 o'clock. And I was just hanging out in my living room, and I heard this noise that was like, it sounded like a little explosion or something, and I had no idea what it was. So I went into my bedroom, and I was like looking all around at, like, I thought maybe like a light bulb had exploded. Like, it was a very weird noise. I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't find anything that was like broken or fallen over or anything. So I just kind of like let it go, and then I heard it again, and I was like, what the heck is this noise? And then I heard this woman yelling, and I got kind of scared. So I like looked out the window, and it was her throwing rocks at my window of my unit because she locked herself out and she needed, like, me to come answer the door. So that was weird. Yeah, like, she's just not really the greatest neighbor. I am happy that she's moving. Hopefully the new neighbor will be much more pleasant. But that's number one, things that I don't like about my apartment. My neighbor, not great. Number 2, the outlets are arranged so badly in this apartment. Like, in the whole living room, there's one outlet basically, and it's not on the wall where the TV would make sense to go. So the apartment is so small, it can only be laid out really like one way. Maybe there's like another layout if you don't have a TV, but if you have a TV, there's like one way to put the apartment, and the outlet is not on that wall. So I have to like snake my extension cords and stuff all around the living room to get to the TV, and, like, you know, the Wi-Fi router and all of that stuff, and it's really annoying. So there's that. And then also in the kitchen, there's only one outlet. So if I want to use my microwave, I have to have that plugged in. But then if I want to use my toaster, I have to unplug the microwave and change the plug to the toaster. Like, it's just really irritating. I've kind of gotten used to it, and it's not really that big of a deal, but like, it's just a little annoying that I don't have the ability to have like 2 everyday appliances plugged in all the time. I have to switch them out every time I want to use them. So that's a little bit annoying. Number 3, this apartment has no laundry. That's pretty common, I guess, in Philadelphia, in like, you know, some cheaper apartments. There are a lot of apartments in my neighborhood that have laundry in the building. I mean, of course, there's also apartments that have laundry in the unit. My apartment does not. So I've been bringing my laundry over to Dan's house like once a week or so to do my laundry here. And it's really not that bad. Like, you know, he and I are going to hang out anyway on the weekend. So I usually just bring my laundry over on like Saturday or Sunday and we just do it here. But sometimes I wish that I could do my laundry in my own house. It's just like a whole ordeal to like take your laundry somewhere else when you don't have laundry at home. So not loving that about this apartment. Next, in the theme of things that the apartment does not have, I don't have a dishwasher or a garbage disposal in the kitchen, which initially when I moved in, I thought that I was really gonna hate that. But I mean, living here for a year, it actually has not been that bad. Like, it's definitely things that I would prefer to have in my kitchen, but I adapted surprisingly well to not having those things. It's just like a bummer that they're not there. Number 5, my overhead storage in my room. So this should be a good thing. Like, I have this huge overhead storage cabinet that's like above my closet, and in theory, it's great. Like, it would hold so much stuff. It's huge. Like, it would be super convenient. That's where I put like my suitcases and stuff, and like, you know, extra like my Christmas tree, you know, stuff that's like out of season. However, I have the landlord special in my apartment, which means that the doors of that space have been painted shut. And actually not even shut. Like, one of them was closed and one of them was halfway open when I moved in. So it's like stuck in this position. And I did have somebody from maintenance one time come over to like take basically like a chisel and a hammer and like hammer around the edge to kind of loosen the paint from the track where the door slides so that it could slide. So they did that once and it helped for a while, but like now it's back stuck again just like it was, and I physically am not strong enough to like slide it. Also, the ceilings are really high, so it's really hard for me to like get up there and like reach into the storage and actually put stuff in there. So yeah, like it's a good idea in theory, but in practice it's really difficult for me to use. Number 6, the plaster walls. So all the walls in my apartment are this like weird plaster texture. I guess that's just like what it's called. My understanding is that it's a different type of wall. It's like not drywall, it's plaster. I don't really know, but they have like a weird texture to them. You can definitely tell they're old. They've been painted over many, many times from our favorite landlord special. It doesn't really bother me that much. And one thing that's kind of nice about it is that when I have put all the holes in the wall from having all my artwork on the wall, I feel like you're not going to be able to tell when I like patch the holes in, because like the wall texture is so uneven. It won't really make a difference that I've like put a few more holes in the wall. But yeah, it's just kind of like weird looking. Like, it doesn't look very finished or like, you know, it just looks kind of old and whatever. I like old buildings, don't get me wrong. I really like old buildings. I really love not living in like an apartment complex where everything looks the same and everything's perfect and like you're scared to put anything up on the wall. Like, I would much rather have the situation that I have, but like the walls are definitely weird. And also some of my pictures don't like hang flat because the wall is textured and like uneven. So I kind of have to like put a little buffer behind them so that they lay flat. Like, it's just a weird situation. Number 7. The closet shelf is missing. So when I moved in, I noticed right away that the closet has like a bar in it, you know, to hang your clothes like normal. And then it had like brackets where clearly a shelf used to be, but the shelf is not there. So, you know, you have like the clothes bar and then you have the rack or like the shelf that goes on top of it. So you can put like shoes or boxes or whatever. Okay, we're back. Hopefully this setup looks the same. I had to take a brief little break because my camera overheated, but we're back. So let's see, where were we? So when I moved in, I noticed right away that the closet shelf in the closet, there's one closet in this apartment, by the way. The bar was there for clothes to hang on, but the shelf that normally goes above was not there. And there were brackets where like it used to be, but it's just no longer there. Unexplained, don't know. This is Ollie, everybody. We'll see if she wants to actually hang out or not. Hello. So I decided, okay, I'll just put my own shelf up because all the brackets are there, so I'll just do it myself. The problem was when I measured, so I bought 2 shelf boards. Thank you, Ollie. And my closet was too long to buy like 1 board that would fit the whole way, so I decided to just buy 2 and I would like fit them together. The problem was when I was measuring them, they were both a little bit longer, so they were kind of overlapping like this. And when I went to mark them of where I needed to cut them, I just wasn't thinking, and I was like, you know, not thinking ahead. And I, instead of marking them to meet in the middle, I marked where the overlap was. So then when I had my boyfriend cut them to be the right length, he cut them where I told him to, and there ended up being this gap in the middle. So that doesn't look great. So I think eventually I'm gonna take that bar out, or that shelf out, and I'll use those boards for like other shelving in my apartment and like try again with a new measurement that I actually do correctly this time. So we'll see what happens there. Number 8, we're going back to the kitchen. The oven is weirdly tiny. So when I first moved in, I had all my kitchen cooking stuff with me, and I had like normal size baking sheets, you know, like cookie sheets, vegetable roasting pans, like all of that type of stuff. And within the first week of me living there, I went to like go put something in the oven to cook it, and the pan didn't fit. It was way too big because the oven is like a little mini baby tiny girl oven. So I ended up having to buy some like half size or quarter size pans so I can actually put them in the oven, which really isn't a big deal because I live by myself, so I only cook for me. But like, it was just funny, like when I moved in, none of my pans would fit inside the oven, which was like a completely unforeseen problem. But yeah, the oven is super weird and tiny. Number 9 and 10, these are really like related to the same issue, but one of them is that the apartment is so small, which means that it becomes messy really easily. And like the flip side of that is that I can clean it really quickly because it's so small, but it's just like, because it's a small space, anything that's in the space that's cluttered, it feels like the whole space is cluttered because there's not that much space for anything to go to. So I feel like if I don't keep myself on my toes and like keep the apartment clean all the time, it really easily and quickly devolves into being a huge mess. But on the flip side, like I said, it's pretty quick to clean because it is so small. So that might actually show up on my next list. But number 10 finally is also related to the apartment being so small, is that like it's really hard to have guests over, like more than like 1 or 2 other people in the space. 3 people, so like me and 2 guests, is kind of like the maximum that can be in the space at once. I've never had more than 2 people over, so I don't know exactly how it would feel, but I mean, even having 2 people over, it feels a little cramped. Sitting on the couch, it's just like really close together, or like, you know, trying to sit in the bedroom. Like if we hang out in the bedroom, you can have like 1 person sit in the desk chair, 1 person sit in the accent chair, and then 1 person sit on the bed. And like, that's kind of comfortable, but you know, then people have to be in your room, and it's really tiny. I really wish that I was able to have more guests over because I really like entertaining. I would love to have like dinner parties or movie nights, or, you know, just like events with people, but it's really tough to host them in my space. So that's probably something I will definitely look for in my new apartment eventually, is like a space that has maybe like a roof deck, an outdoor space, more spacious living room, you know, something like that where I can actually have people over to the house. But there you go. Those are my 10 things that I hate about my apartment. And like I said, most of them are really not that big of a deal. Saying hate is a bit dramatic, but I also am gonna throw at you 10 things I love about my apartment. So keep an eye out for that video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.